Man, I don't know why I feel like crying when I go to say this out loud. I've literally been procrastinating on this all morning. I really wanted to. Well, I was guided to, right? That's how I take all of my actions is I connect to my soul, I connect to my big vision that I have for the things that I want to do in the world, and then I ask what the aligned action is to take. And my rule with myself, it's another topic for another day, right? But rules for yourself help you to get shit done. Well, my rule for myself is I must do whatever pops out first. And sometimes as I'm writing it, I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not. But I can't, right? It's a rule that I've made with myself. Well, what popped out this morning was that I needed to share some of my personal story with you guys. Who knows why, right? Maybe it'll trigger something in you. Maybe it'll trigger some healing. Maybe it'll make you feel better. Maybe it'll make you sparkle brighter today. Maybe it'll make you love yourself more. Listen to me, I'm getting tongue-tied because I'm stalling about telling you what it is. So I've taken the dogs for a walk and I paid my ACC bill and I've done all sorts of other things. Now, I do not procrastinate. You know how much I hate procrastinating, but man, I am procrastinating hard because I don't want to tell you this. Now, what came out that, which part of my journey shall I share with you? I used to be a negative, naggy bitch. Oh my God, I said it and I didn't cry. It's fine. I used to be extremely negative. I used to see the bad in everything, and I attracted so much bad into my life. So when I say, abundance is easy and you just do these affirmations, and it is just that easy, but getting to that point was so, so hard. That's why I have so much compassion for people that cling to their old stories and that make life hard and they think things are happening to them and they sound like a victim, but they don't feel like a victim. And I know that because I didn't feel like a victim. But I know looking back, I was a victim. I created all of the shit in my life that I created with my thoughts and with my actions. And it's really painful to admit, right? So for a business coach that works in energy and abundance and taking aligned action and all of those things, for me to sit here and say that I would do anything to not have to take an aligned action, I would do anything to not have to take responsibility for the outcomes that I created myself. And I was still successful. Even doing those things, I was successful, but it was hard. It was so hard and it felt shit. It really felt shit. There has honestly been points in my life where I just actually didn't want to be alive anymore. God, I'm telling you all the fucking secrets today. But if it makes you feel any better, then I guess that I'm pleased that I'm sharing this. Or maybe it's healing for me, right? I don't really know. And if you're listening to this ramble, I really do hope that you get something from it. I know that whenever someone listens to something, they always take exactly what they need. And what you need right now might not show up right now. You might think, what are you waffling on about, bitch? But then 2 weeks later, something will click and you'll be like, So it's always worth listening through. If you're dragged to looking at something, then just bear with it and listen to the ramble, because I feel like something's good. I feel like I'm about to tap into something. And I know because my body tells me. So I manifested all sorts of shit in my life. Business partners ripping me off, staff stealing from me, getting fired from a job for being psychic. That was an interesting one. I have manifested all sorts of stuff because I didn't believe that I was good enough. I believed that people eventually would see the real me and then they wouldn't like me, and then that's exactly what would happen. I would act out and I think, who is this person? Like, she's certainly not me. Or something would be done and it'd be taken in the wrong way, and I'm thinking, well, how did you see that? Because that's what I was thinking in my head. That was manifesting on the outside for me. So I called into my life exactly that. People talking about me and gossiping and all of those really painful things. And now that I've released them, I'm so much lighter. I get to live in joy and abundance every single day. And that honestly is the secret. And that is the thing that actually got me out of it, was just focusing on the small steps, focusing on joy. Like, where's a beautiful flower that I can smell? I love that my fingernails match my dress and my earring, like the little tiny things that can bring you joy, picking up your dog and giving it a little smooch and a snuggle, or making yourself a delicious cup of coffee, changing the sheets on your bed so you've got fresh sheets to get into, treating yourself how you want to be treated by other people. And that's the other thing. When you're in pain and you don't think you're good enough, you do everything and sundry to try and be good enough for other people. And and I used to bend over fucking backwards, right, to make people like me, like seriously bend over backwards, cooking people meals and looking after their kids when I didn't want to, and doing all sorts of things, giving them money, giving shit away for free. And of course people will take, right? And of course you're giving it because you want them to take it, but you're doing it because you want them to like you, and it doesn't work, right? When it comes from that energy, of course it doesn't work. And of course people are going to take if you're going to offer. And then it just sets up this whole yucky cycle where you're not doing them any favors either, because if you're giving and they're not giving back, well, then you're setting up an energy deficit for them that they're going to have to pay back later to someone else. And so it's just not a good idea. And I don't do it anymore. Do I do things for people? Absolutely I do. But it comes from a completely different place. I don't rescue people anymore, and I certainly don't scramble after people to get them to like me, because they either like me or they don't, because not everyone's gonna, right? Like, that is the truth. Not everyone is gonna like you. And the sooner you get used to that, the sooner that you can just get on with feeling better about yourself and calling abundance and all the good shit into your life. But that's how it started for me in my life. I was fairly negative, I suppose. I would always see, maybe not what could go wrong, because I never have really been able to see that. Like, I always have been quite Pollyanna-ish, like it's a joke, an inside joke in my family, that I just don't get it when people are being mean, and I would never change that about myself. Like, I like that I don't see the badness, but I would perhaps see how things might not go right for me, or I would think, oh yeah, but nobody really likes me, or so I would just find ways to self-sabotage myself, because the reality is that whatever we're thinking on the inside is always reflected on the outside for us. And when you're in pain on the inside, you create a really painful world for yourself. And it breaks my fucking heart when I see people living in pain, and then they're creating more of that pain in their reality. And it really does suck. Big old story that's come out today. I'm actually feeling a little bit better for sharing it. And so I've managed to get through the whole telling of the story without crying, which is a bonus, right? And I feel like the whole point in this is that you too can change anything that you're bringing into your life. All it takes is flicking a switch, right? Like, not even trying to affirm your way out of it, because you can say these affirmations, but you don't believe them. And so you say them and you're like, yeah, right. And then you're just manifesting more shit into your life. So if you're way back at that end where I was, if you're not up here right now, if you're way back there, then just focus on the joy. Focus on what you can smell, touch, hear, taste, and see that brings you absolute joy. And I promise you that you will find your way out of that paper bag. I hope that you've enjoyed listening to this today, and that there has been some purpose in it. I wish you all a completely wonderful day, and remember, together we shall rise.